in the meta so far. But their hero pool, comparing it to Black, I mean, it's going to be a tough match today.
And you know, the man that you're seeing right now on the screen, Relic, this guy really is the heart and soul of the team. He's the captain, he's the drafter, he's the main shot caller, he's the main assassin. Basically, he's sort of what Quacknix was to Fnatic. So I would go as far as to say that he's the Korean Quacknix. If you have a problem with his individual play, then maybe you can call him the bad Korean Quacknix, but I'm going to stay positive today. And, you know, you have to, you know, consider the fact that he's, you know, doing with much, I won't sugarcoat it, worse teammates than what Quacknix has to work with, because Seron, a complete rookie to pro play.
Yes.
Milky Way, another complete rookie to pro play. Blue Beetle, a famous streamer, sure, but still very new to pro play.
Yeah, famous streamer as being a pro in, not pro, as being a troll in Grandmaster.
Right, and the thing is, Relic, this guy is also pretty much a rookie, so he's working with 4 rookies on his team, and Mighty Sands, who has name changed to Overlord, who is still pretty new to the scene, all things considered. So I think it's really commendable how far Relic has taken this team this far in this short amount of time.
And it seems like also that's also why it seems like he's the only one that's popping off all the time. Really, he's going in either early or way too late.
Well,
this is usually how we have it.
Yeah, this is how we do it this year.
And you press that button called Start Game, and then we go into Draft. That's exactly what happens, guys.
We just decided to give you a behind-the-scenes peek, you know? Some people never really created a custom room in the game before.
Now everyone knows we have 3 observers.
Oh, no.
Oh, man.
Like,
that was, like, our secret to HGC Korea this entire time.
Well, we'll think of new secrets to come.
Oh, there's the first one. Genji is banned. Will we see Hanzo coming out or
How
banned?
surprising it is to see Genji being banned.
Oh, I can tell you're very excited, Rally.
Yeah. Obviously, Abathur
here comes...
Here comes Rich. Or Abathur. Or
Hanzo, at your service.
You could have chosen a funnier voice line.
Well,
I'll give you a second chance.
We
Let's
do have to talk
pretend
about the
Hanzo
draft.
was just locked in, maybe.
No. Next game.
Next game.
So it's not the worst thing. And then Hanzo was immediately picked. Of course, it was a given. After either Rich or Reset, either one of them can do it. And back then, when they were going against Tempest, when Reset had to be on Arthas, and Rich was on the other hero, I forget. But that kind of role swap in the team kind of shows us that they're not really practiced and they're not 100% sure about what to do. They should have been set and ready to go from the draft, but they had to role swap that in the middle right before the game. That doesn't really make sense coming into the entire new season. Maybe they thought Tempest was a weaker team by far, but they got stumped on that day.
Yeah, I mean, you know, with all of the players on KSV Black having such wide hero pools, a lot of it was to be expected, and when they swap positions around, it's usually not much of a problem, but I don't know, it didn't lead to great results, and they did look off in that series. So far, though, not a lot of surprising things going on in the draft. Genji Abathur ban on Towers of Doom is pretty much the standard. It has never been anything else in HGC Korea so far. Hanzo first pick also standard. Now, something to mention about the Tyrael Rehgar is that Milky Way is a very, very good Tyrael. He was actually known as Roxer in Korean Hero League for a very long time, and he was very famous as a Tyrael one-trick pony. So we will get to see Milky Way on Tyrael again. Pretty exciting, yeah, but not too excited about the KSV Black answer with Anubarak Uther. I think it's a really good answer to Tyrael, so maybe Milky Way won't get to do as much.
Yeah, basically they already had answer. That's exactly why they left Tyrael open, knowing the team, of course. Also, when GLuck was versing Feliz, basically Feliz was banning Tyrael every single time from the beginning of the draft, just like the open division at the end, where they were doing the promotional games when Tyrael was always banned when GLuck was playing. And Black is just ready for it. And Ubarak having 100% win rate right now in Korea too. And taking Uther away, I think that's one of the smartest picks. Uther just rising up so high because we are having lots of assassins and tank players in the front line. You need that burst heal right now for the burst damage.
And I was going to mention about this as soon as Tyrael is picked, but something that's all the rage in Korean Hero League right now, and it's seeing use across, you know, all regions as well in professional play, is the Tyrael Judgment blow-up comp that Tempest used to great effect against KSV Black themselves. If you have a support that can't deal with Judgment, whether it be used on, like, you know, itself or on its teammates, then bad things are going to happen. We already saw, you know, Tempest take full advantage of KSV Black's Lucio pick in that game too, with Tyrael going Judgment and Valstad using Hinterland Blast to, you know, capitalize on it, and Greymane Leeming does something very similar. Both can dive the target that Tyrael picks. So when they get resets and start to pop off in teamfights, you know it's going to be pretty much over. Thankfully though, KSV Black already having experienced that kind of blow-up drafted Uther, and Uther can protect himself, also good at protecting teammates that are judgmented, so I don't think that we're going to see Judgment in this game.
Yep, and no false that either. We're having Arthur's a solid tank in the front line that's gonna delay lots of coming in from a Nubarak. Even Hanzo's poking, he can actually tank pretty well with the Rehgar, but oftentimes when they were poked so much, Rehgar had to use Ancestral, and that's exactly the timing when KSV Black is going to go in. There are lots of pokes, lots of percent damage, even minigun damage from Tychus, so that's a big worrisome. That's something that GLuck has to really think about when they're going into the game, I think.
And, you know, judging from the rest of the draft from KSV, I don't think that, you know, Judgment will really be taken. We will probably see a Sanctification, but we never know, I guess.
Yeah, very likely Sanctification with Greymane and Leeming. They would need to focus down on one target, but I think Uther just is the answer against when they try to take down one single target. Can just give burst heal or divine shield at target. That's enough, and they will also KSV Black will have the cocoon when Rehgar needs to ancestral like a Greymane or Arthas. If you just cocoon the solo support, that's exactly why we mentioned yesterday Nubarak is rising up so highly, because the cocoon will buy that much time to actually destroy the teamfight. When you're out of the cocoon, the teamfight cannot happen.
In general, tanks that take full advantage of the solo support meta that we have right now are the best, and we can see that in the main tanks that these two teams have picked. Something to keep in mind when we're watching a Nubarak is that it's not like KSV Black have ETC. Oh wow.
Oh, here we go. Living doing some damage. Got good orb damage, but the focusing was not there for GLuck when Black was basically destroying Arthas with that grab. And that's the first blood.
I know it's pretty... It's a very old observation to make at this point, but I still feel amazed whenever I see Rich play Dehaka that well, because we thought it was never going to happen for such a long time, but he really does look like the best or the second best Dehaka in the world. I say second best is probably closer to the mark because we all know how good Whoopi can be, but, you know, regardless.
And GLuck.
And GLuck, so
yes.
maybe the
so
third
he's the
best.
Third.
Right. I'll give you that.
Yes. Oh, guys, don't trust me. I do lie sometimes. And Rich actually, even from Tempest, his Dehaka actually like trapped out Falset all the time before Lockdown was able to have that major gust into the cocoon. Before that, it could not happen because of Rich's Dehaka the entire time. That's how good at his good he is. So we're gonna see pause, but let's continue to talk about Rich as he's the one to type here, as his brush talk timing was great at perfect place. He knows exactly when to come, who to drag, what to do. He even puts isolation onto another target, and then he knows that target is already dead and drags onto another one to grab both of the kills for the team. Those kind of super plays were just something amazing that we could see from Rich on day number 1, even though they lost.
And I know that, you know, deification of really good players can get really old really quickly, but I think it really is worth talking about Rich in specific because, you know, this is something that a lot of pro players and analysts in Korea say, but they say that Rich is so difficult to play against, whether you're a good player or not. Like, regardless of your level, even if you're a player at the top level of play, Rich is so annoying and difficult to play against simply because he thinks in such a different way from everyone else. The thing is that, you know, when you play heroes, and when you're deciding whether to go in or not at a specific moment in time, you're thinking that, I have a chance of getting hit by this, and well, that is on cooldown, and I can probably sidestep this, and I'll have to land this and this, but it's probably impossible to land this. Then after you make those calculations, probably unconsciously, you either go in or not. But the thing is, Rich is so absurdly confident in his abilities to land everything and dodge everything, and at the same time, he has this supercomputer-like brain that is keeping track of literally everything, every little spell that's on cooldown. So when he goes in, those are the timings that you absolutely don't expect, that you would never think about going in if you were in Rich's position. And that, being just caught out of the blue like that makes it so difficult for pro players to react.
Yeah, that's what makes Rich so much stronger than the other ones, but also he gets trapped sometimes. He makes mistakes. He's not... Oh, you said supercomputer, but he's a human being, so he makes mistakes, but this time it seems like we'll see some mistakes coming out from
Relic.
Yes.
That was a bit overeager by him.
It was a good dive from Black too. It was not really baited out, but they should have known that a lot of heroes were missing from the mid lane. They were just seeing Rich on top. That was it.
Yeah, that was a pretty elementary mistake by GLuck, but no harm done, I guess. Only a small experience lead so far for KSV BLACK.
Yeah, and KSV had some just minor audio issue. That was what the PP was for, and they're back and playing, and it's going to be all right for both teams. And we already have half-level lead for Black. Seems like they want to take this quickly. Not as quickly, though. Seems like their tempo is a little bit slowed after they lost to Tempest. But we do see the basic attack build from Reset this time.
Are they coming? Are they coming? Are they coming? Aww.
They do spot, as they were missing from lane.
That was a pretty, wishy-washy death brush when it comes to it. Only 2 people in the brush.
And GLuck actually has a lot of poking, not just Leaming. Even Rhaegar can just put down the totem and check the bushes. And just his positioning, watch out for his positioning. If you're a tank player, you can actually go watch his POV, but his positioning is insanely good all the time.
He's probably the most individually improved player on this roster when it comes down to this iteration of the roster.
Let's see, Rich takes a lot of damage. There's a healing coming out from Kyocha. GLuck is forced back away a little bit. They need to buy some time as Arthas is also very low on mana.
They probably can't do anything. Tyrael needed to go back and drink. Right. So, yeah, pretty effective use of Hanzo so far, I guess. Rhaegar could not keep up with the constant poke, as you were mentioning, so this is going exactly like you had predicted in the draft phase.
Well, I think a lot of people would have made the same prediction as I did, knowing the teams also. But well, still, GLuck actually keeping up the tempo. I thought they would be losing it after when they were versing. Well, of course they were versing some on a lower team before, but when they're against a stronger team, when they were in open division, sometimes they were having some mental trouble. Sometimes when they were losing few members, they just lost it, and maybe they just gave up that game and they started thinking about the next game or something, and then they got ganked like 5-6 times from the first 3-4 minutes of the game, and basically the game was over by minute 5. But this time they're actually working very hard to take everything away from KSV BLACK at the moment.
Doing pretty well for themselves overall, and also just the passing mention of the new Uther talent build that is so hot in Korea nowadays. Hammer of the Lightbringer into Pursuit of Justice. Obviously, everyone knows that that is what everyone takes right now. Tempest Hyde used it to great effect against KSV, and everyone else has been copying him. I'm pretty sure that they weren't copying him, but still, he was the first one to use it in pro play, so he gets the bragging rights as usual.
And also cleanse, of course.
That's how it works, right?
Oftentimes. And sometimes you can actually steal it after scrims, and then you can use it first, and then it's yours. That's how pro play works here.
Yeah.
Here we go. They're looking. I think they may have enough damage with all the auto attacks. He's getting all the body blocks. Zeron taking a lot of damage. Reset seems like he may escape with Rich coming into the bush.
Reset makes it out alive. Milky Way does not. Arthas makes it out alive, thankfully. He was actually hit by the grenade as well, but there simply wasn't enough damage on KSV Black's side. All in all, like, nothing is going that well for GLuck, but I guess we could say that everything could have gone worse.
Yep, and
considering KSV Black's, you know, tendency to absolutely annihilate lower tier teams before the 10-minute mark, I'd say that GLuck is holding up pretty well.
Yeah, that's right. And Rich actually joined into the team fight a lot of the time to gank on instead of just pushing the lane. And because Arthas was also missing the lane, oftentimes he just chooses to push lanes, just leave everything else to the 4 members. Oftentimes because they are confident that they can also win the 4v5 sometimes. But this time, I don't think they're. I think they're being really cautious after the loss after the Tempest. They want to have everything perfect and have their lead, not a major lead, but still a good lead until the very end, and then take the game just like that.
Yeah, this doesn't feel like that kind of game where KSV is so sure of themselves that
a long time ago where they used to pick Sylvanas into BOE and then finish the game in 6-7 minutes.
Yeah, this doesn't feel like the kind of game where KSV just steamrolls the opponents and Rich is laughing like a maniac in the booth and staying like 2 minutes too long in the enemy base. We saw a lot of those games last season. Right now against GLuck, it looks like they're giving them their full respect.
Well, let's see. This is Stars of Doom. Of course, it takes a long time. We're not going to have 40-0, of course. As GLuck had good trade around. Let's see where the arrow goes. That missed big time.
It had to be aimed at Zeron, right?
Oh, at Arthas, yes.
Probably what was going on. Had it hit, probably could have died.
Oh, it's not Dragon Strike, though. Like, we had the best moment with the Dragon Strike, but here comes Isolation and the kill from Uther, actually, I thought. Nubarak dove in for the kill, but that's the first one. Without Arthas, they either have to have the perfect sanctification with Greymane leaving all damaging onto a single target like Hanzo to get the kill, or else nothing else can turn this around right now.
That was a really elementary mistake by Zeron, right? 4 of the members of KSV Black were sighted in the vicinity going downwards. They're not shown on the minimap. Where could they be? Obviously in that area, but Zeron just walks down when he had enough time to go around to the safe side. So, I don't know. We were talking about most of GLuck being complete rookies to the pro scene, and these kinds of moments really show that. You know, it's pure inexperienced, and it's not about whether the player is actually good at the game or not, or whether he, like, you know, it's not a matter of mechanics, it's just a matter of experience.
Yes, and Relic actually getting caught. He caught himself actually draining. Ancestral does survive with Sanctification, but that's not going to be enough damage to come in. And the center tried to come from the side, but if he had come down maybe 10 seconds earlier, I think this team fight could have been a lot better for GLuck.
I agree. They were just caught out in the wrong position, and Relic pulled off a cute little move right there, using his, you know, go for the throat to jump out of the body block choke that KSV Black were pulling off on him. But still, it was not good enough. A lot of wasted damage. Also, a mostly wasted sanctification because Greymane was not in there. Ancestral was blown pretty early as well. Not a good team fight by any means.
And Uther never even had to use the shield until now, when Ancestral was basically used for nothing because of a mistake. That should not happen at all before the team fight, and Black just has been pushing this, and this will be the first battle tower, and maybe more later on very soon, as they also have a global control with the Dehaka, actually not using the Broshtucker, coming all the way down, wants to save it and go all the way up right after channeling this.
Solid decisions being made by KSV Black every turn of this game. All 10 shots going to GLuck's core. Arthas may be in trouble if any of KSV Black wants to go help Dehaka, but no, I guess.
Not this time, as they are still in good control with Anubarak, just taking all the shots from Leeming, as he still has that spell armor. But this...
Because we have the option of fighting now, Dehaka can come down.
Anubarak does dive in onto Tyrael this time, not going to make They're focusing on to Tyrael as they were missing few members, and Deaka also cannot come down at the moment.
Right. Made a mistake. Bresh Talker was on cooldown. They're just probably waiting to, you know, tussle a little bit more with the Pumpkin Men. Deaka obviously better wave clear than Arthas slightly.
So they want to bring everything and get 1, 2, 3. All the shots actually go in. That's going to be 3 down onto the core hill. I thought they would actually at least stop 1 or 2 with the damage at least.
Basically no resistance at all from GLuck so far. Are they going in?
From the side? Anubarak does have his HP down to about half HP.
This is dangerous, I think, because Zeron doesn't have mana, but KSV decide not to take advantage of that.
Because they're leading anyhow. They still have the bell tower, and the next set of altar is coming up with Deaka's already on his way up. When GLuck actually took all the resource to actually pressure into the bottom bell tower.
So they got back the bell tower, but if KSV Black decide that they want to make a move for all 3 altars, they could end the game.
Let's see.
I think Deaka
totally
wants
can.
to, yeah.
They're gonna invade onto top right. Deaka just wants to stall this. They want to finish this game right now from what we see from the movement. There's a Cocoon, and Arthas will be a kill, and then if can Rich survive all this damage?
This is a pretty interesting decision from KSV Black to actually engage in that corner of the map instead of heading straight down to force an early victory, but I guess they really want to play everything safe.
I guess GLuck wanted to at least get a few more kills from that engagement on the top, but GLuck actually defended that pretty well, just having the right resources, and Saron this time actually managed to escape from all that damage, and also Cocoon was used, so that's going to be on cooldown for such not too long, but a few more seconds, for 13 more seconds.
Right. 6 or 7 minutes ago, we were praising that GLuck seemed to be unfazed by the early, disadvantages that we're getting early on. But I guess, at some point it becomes, it's one thing to be cautious, but it's another thing to not really do anything for all of the game. And GLuck has not made a single truly aggressive move, a risky move in this entire game. They're getting damaged by the boss slightly, moves out of the pit.
Because even before Tyrael jumps in and dives, they're poked so much, and the Saron just has to back up where he dies before the team fight. There was not even a single chance with the sanctification, but here it comes.
Ancestral needs to come out.
Ancestral does connect, and Tyrael comes a little bit late, and there's Relic just has to escape, barely escapes, he's saved, but he cannot fight for a long time now.
GLuck's indecisiveness is a bit frustrating to watch at this point. They're the composition that needs to go in, but they stall so much trying to jostle for the right position and getting poked in the meantime that KSV Black always ends up being the ones to go in with Anubarak at the helm. And I don't know, this is not the kind of Tyrael play that I had expected from GLuck and from Milky Way.
I think they're just super pressured, and oftentimes one of their members, Greymane, Tyrael, or Arthas, is just poked down so much. This time they want to go on Sake and pressure it a little bit more. Sanctification is already down, gets a grab onto that Greymane. There's a damage, really is very low. Seems like he will go down very soon. That's the first kill of the team fight. Sake is low, but he's still doing damage from the side. That's a grenade taking the second kill of the team fight. Oh, Rhaegar Ancestral is on cooldown. He's not even available for healing right now.
They knew they had to go in, and you can't really blame that decision. But the thing is, they had wasted so many heroics by the time the team fight actually started that it was pretty much
this is
over.
painful to watch.
Oh, Overlord. Perfect tongue from Rich.
Yep, and Uther is going to channel, and that's going to be game number 1, guys. KSV Black taking game number 1 off of GLuck with a solid victory. Not really giving a single kill. Clean game, 9 kills to 0.
That was pretty clinical. Like